Hello, everyone, and welcome to My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 2. We're finally getting into the meat of things. We expected last week's episode to be a little bit of a recap and a little bit of a reintroduction, because My Hero Academia always does this whenever they go on break and they come back. But this time we come back in, and you know what? We go right back in time. We see Endeavor and Hawks once again talking, and boom! They reveal Dabi. He just shows up, and Endeavor's like, "Do you remember this guy called Snatch?" And Snatch is like, apparently one of Endeavor. Endeavor actually cares about someone, and it looks like, you know, Dobby kind of killed him. So he's trying to figure out what's going on, and Dobby's about to engage both of them, and that's pretty much all we saw before. Bunny Girl pops in, tries to knock him out. He has the bartender and all of his powers to just pretty much disappear and go wherever the hell he wants. I mean, he was in his mouth. It was really weird, but you know what? Really smart. Can't deny. Amazing, right? And then we get a reveal. Turns out that Dobby was kind of working with Hawks, or rather, Hawks wanted to work with the League of Villains, but Dobby does not trust them. That's why Dobby sent him on a mission. This is his mission. He was supposed to go around with Endeavor, and Dobby sent a Nomu, and give me a sec here. Dobby sent the Nomu. Hawks knew this Nomu was coming, but he didn't realize it was of this level. And Dobby's like, well, whatever. It was a test. I told you. You know. And then we're like, okay, so Hawks turns out to be a bad guy. This entire time we thought he was a great guy, and not so much. And then we get another flashback, which is funny. So even before that, we just went from a flashback to a flashback, but it's great because we get to see that the government is pretty much asking Hawks to be a villain and to join the League of Villains so that when they finally corner them, they'll have nowhere to retreat to, right? And it looks like they're really holding this over his head and he doesn't really have a choice because there is a point where, we flash back to a kid at Hawk and Hawks is like, well, he's holding his little Endeavor doll and it turns out he just saved a whole group of people from a massive incident. They all went looking for him and they said, you know what? We'll take care of your family. Let's take care of you. And it looks like that's what they're holding against him. They're taking care of his family. We don't know what the family situation is. For all we know, some of them are in the hospital. Who knows? And we go back to real time. Hawks is pretty much just talking to Endeavor while Endeavor's in the hospital. After that whole fight, Endeavor is bandaged up. And you know what? It's completely okay. Because he's just chilling. Endeavor, we've seen him that he had his whole realization about what he really should be doing. And, we also have a little bit more insight into the fact that while Endeavor and Hawk were walking around, all of those like great moments where everybody was just gathered around Hawk because they were like, wow, Hawk was really just so that he could bring attention to them. So he would have an excuse to why the Nomu attacked them. I mean, they are the number one and number two hero walking around the city. It does make sense why a Nomu would be like, well, this is my target. And you know what? Endeavor cautions Hawk. Endeavor's like, if you're gonna keep pursuing the League of Villains, right? You should take somebody that can match up to them. And you know what? I mean, considering Endeavor is the number one hero and he's number two, does that mean that he's pretty much saying take him? I mean, I guess. And it's nice. Hawk and Endeavor actually walk to the train station, and Hawk sees Endeavor out, and then we cut from there. So that's okay. We have another important thing here too, because it looks like Endeavor actually went to his home, and his sister, Todoroki's sister, Fiumi, is really happy that he showed up because she's like, wait, you're actually here. Great. Let's sit down. Let's have a nice family day. Right. But the problem with this is that Todoroki and his brother both still do not trust or they do not have that connection with their father. Their father had pulled Todoroki away from the rest of the family, and it's completely understandable why they would have so much time adjusting back to life with him if He's been the dividing force in their family. He's brought them so much grief. Even the marks on his face are only because of Endeavor. I'm talking about Todoroki's face. And you know what? Todoroki sees him and he's like, that looks pretty bad, Dad. You know? Because he has a mark on his face as well. I forget which side it is. But, I guess they're matching now. Like father, like son, right? And we're getting a little bit of progress, and it's kind of nice for a quick second until you realize that Todoroki and his brother are just leering at their father, and I mean, again, it's completely understandable, and the brother is like, sister, this isn't gonna work out, because the sister leans over and is like, well, try, and he's like, you know what, I'm not ready for this. He just all of a sudden decided, oh, I want to be a good father now. I'm going to let you guys come together. And the brother uses a great example. He says, I didn't even know my brother liked to eat this until today because you've never let us interact with him. Again, we're just seeing the path of destruction that Endeavor has gone through. We see all of the things that has really curbed this family, and it turns out the brother says that he does not understand how the sister and the mother can both forgive him. So it looks like the mother and the sister are both on board with trying to get the family back together. Todoroki and his brother are a little bit different. Todoroki is like, well, he's here, he's trying. I've seen people change because of little incidents, so let's see how much he can change. Can he become a much better father? I want to see what happens, right? So Todoroki is going to give him a chance. Endeavor has a little bit of a confrontation with Todoroki's brother and is like, well, you know, I'll just take it head on. Whatever you want to do, I'll take you head on. And the brother walks away. And after, having a little bit of a conversation and thanking Endeavor is like, oh, the most important things for me are the future. The reason that I wanted to be a number one hero is so I can secure a better future for everyone. And you know what? If my son isn't happy, I mean, what is it all for? I mean, obviously everybody else, but he's trying to take care of his family first, which is completely understandable. So he's like, all right, let me go outside to meet him. We never see anything else on that, but instead, we're greeted with Midoriya, young Midoriya. And, Midoriya is doing his thing. He's taking a nap. And, one for all for one, two powers. We're learning more on it. So when he's asleep, he once again has images of all of the people that have had one for all in the past, right? He how do I say it? He sees all 8 people plus himself, which makes 9 users of one for all. I think this is important. I'm not sure. I've never seen or read the manga, so I can't say for sure. But to me, it seems like Deku might end up learning about each and every one of them. And you know what? I really do want to see them. I want to know what the storyline is. For all we know, they're all connected to one, all for one, right? And the brother. We actually also get a flashback scene from this point where Deku gets to see what happened between uh, the owner of One for All and the owner of All for One and how they came to be, how one brother forced the other one to take the how one brother forced the other one to get his quirk, and then he had 2 quirks. But like I said, we didn't know about this in the past. This is all stuff we knew about, but we never actually saw it happen. When Deku sees this, he's like, "Well, I know that voice because he just fought him, right?" And the guy is like, I'm not that bad. As a matter of fact, I'm a great person. Look what I am doing. I'm taking these powers from people that don't want them, and I'm then giving it to people that want him. Here is a man with a stun gun, a completely normal man. He was attacked by superhumans with powers. His stun gun was useless. He got jumped. Here's a man who loves his family, tries to spend time with them, does everything for them. He has like jaws, strong jaws, very very strong jaws, big teeth on the outside. Looks a lot like Rock Boy we got in the squad whenever he rocks up, and he just always looks like that, and he's kind of scary looking. So as a result, his entire family he spent his entire life taking care of, and most of the people are scared of him or look down on him or looking away from him. And you know what? For him, that's terrible too. So he's like, all right, I'm going to take this power from this guy that doesn't want it, and I'm going to give this power to a guy that wants it. In all honesty, it looks great. But, the previous owner of One for All says, that's not true. You're doing this all for selfish gain. And although this is true, you can't deny that he's actually helping these people. And then All for One says, well, there was once a set of rebellion after of a bunch of people. They went and they did things that I didn't tell them to do. So all of my subordinates went and took care of that for me. But the best part is he didn't have to order them. I say subordinates, but I think he says friends. But pretty much he's treating them like subordinates. And All for One is like, well, they took care of it for me. I never ordered them to do it. I'm so happy. And they're following him because they really appreciate what he's done for them, it looks like. Unless he's brainwashing them. We're not completely sure yet. And One for All says, well, that's because you take people normally and you use them and then you throw them away. We haven't actually seen this, but I would not doubt him. I would not doubt him. I mean, he is the owner, right? He's the reason that Midoriya even has this power in the first place. And then we cut to see him, and he sees Midoriya, and he's like, you're at 20%? You've gotten to this point? This is all we can do at 20%, right? And he says, you know what? It's okay. You're not alone. And it looks like Midoriya is finally getting an insight to who he's been carrying around with him this entire time. All these people that have been cultivating One for All are all in this power that he now has. So he's going to get to learn more and more about him, I hope. I mean, honestly, this sets up great prospects for the rest of the show, especially this season in particular. The only things that I've got to say that I do not like about this season so far is that in terms of fighting, there just isn't. It's a little bit of a talk fest, right? So for the people that are in it for the action, you might get very bored. But honestly, the story is just enough to keep me grabbed, right? Especially compared to the first episode. The first episode, I'll give it some leeway, right? Deku also wakes up in the end, and he's like, well, window break. The power just shot off somehow, and Deku's arm has the markings all over it, showing that he's using One for All. I don't know what this means yet. This might mean that he has a little bit more mastery of it, or that maybe he's been granted some more power. I'm not really sure. But you know what? We're going to find out next week. So let me know what you guys think of the episode down in the description and down in the comments. Down in the description. I'll leave the question for you, actually. And then in the comments, you answer it. That's what I was trying to say. But you know what, guys? It was honestly a really good episode. On a scale of 10, I would probably give it like a 7. I mean, in terms of episode where 5 is average, 7 is actually good, right? I mean, the only thing it was missing for me was the action, but with how much story we got, it was great. Getting a 9 or a 10 for me for an episode is just so rare. But you know what? For My Hero Academia, this is actually really, really good. So, like I said before, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And remember, don't die. It's bad for your health. All right, everyone, have a great day and see you next time on my next review of My Hero Academia.